Go out and tell our story. Let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you.
Men of color to arms. When first the rebel cannon shattered the walls of Sumter and drove away its starving garrison, I predicted that the war, then and there inaugurated, would not be fought out entirely by white men. A war undertaken and brazenly carried on for the perpetual enslavement of colored men, caused logically and loudly for colored men to help suppress it. Hence, with every reverse to the national arms, with every exulting shouts of victory raised by the slave-holding rebels, I have implored the imperiled nation to unchain against her foes her powerful black hand. Slowly and reluctantly, that appeal is beginning to be heeded. There is no time for delay. Liberty won by white men would lose half its luster. Who would be free themselves must strike the blows. Better even die free than to live slaves. This is the sentiment of every brave colored man amongst us. But there are weak and cowardly men in all nations. We have them amongst us. They tell you this is the white man's war, and you will be no better off after than before the war, that the getting of you into the army is to sacrifice you on the first opportunity. Believe them not. Cowards themselves, they do not wish to have their cowardice shamed by your brave example. Leave them to their timidity or whatever motives hold them back. I have not thought lightly of the words I am now addressing you. So now, for the first time during this war, I feel at liberty to call and counsel you to arms. By every consideration which binds your enslaved fellow countrymen, and to the peace and welfare of your country, by every aspiration which you cherish for the freedom and equality of yourselves and your children, by all the ties of blood and identity which makes us one with the brave black men now fighting our battles in Louisiana and South Carolina, I urge you to fly to arms and smite with death the power that would bury the government and your liberty in the same hopeless grave. We can get at the throat of treason and slavery through the state of Massachusetts. She was first in the War of Independence, first to break the chains of her slaves, first to make the black man equal before the law, first to admit colored children to her common schools, and she was first to answer with her blood the alarm cry of the nation when its capital was menaced by rebels. You know her patriotic governor, and you know Charles Sumner. I need not add more. I am authorized to assure you that you will receive the same wages, rations, and protection secured to white soldiers, and you shall be accorded all of the honor you shall merit by your valor. The day dawns. The morning star is bright upon the horizon. Let us remember Denmark Vesey of Charleston, Nathaniel Turner of Southampton, Shields Green and Copeland, who followed noble John Brown and fell as glorious martyrs for the slave cause. The iron gate of our prison is half open. This is our golden opportunity. Let us accept it. The case is before you. The nucleus of this first regiment is now in Camp Reedville, a short distance from Boston. I will undertake to forward to Boston all persons adjudged fit to be mustered into the regiment, who shall apply to me at any time during the next 2 weeks. I would find, as a result of my efforts and others, colors would join the Union Army and fight in an exemplary manner, notwithstanding being exposed to the normal dangers in battle, but more horrific when captured by rebel forces and they are shot or returned to slavery. As well, I found their conditions of military service in the Union cause were not as originally promised. As such, I am decided to go to Washington and lay the complaints of my people before President Lincoln. the most exalted person in this great republic. As an ex-slave identified with the despised race, I do so with much trepidation. I may be told to go home, mind my own business. I may be refused an invitation altogether. Nevertheless, I do feel bound to go.
Make them hear you. Make them hear you.